Welcome, everyone. Welcome to another segment of RPT Entertainment on YouTube. Well, this time I have the esteemed honor. This guy right here, I'm telling you, I met him a few years ago, and we've always gotten off our conversations that we've had. I mean, they're mind. I mean, they're so interesting and mind blowing. I had to have him on this show. This man is a veteran actor. He's a writer, producer, and a musician. I would like to say, as you can tell by him, this guy is he does everything. He does everything. He's got a very interesting story. Again, he's a veteran in this business that I respect, and I mean, he's amazing, fascinating. So, listen, everyone, I'd like to introduce you to Mr. Joseph Pridmore. But wait a minute, Joseph. First of all, before we get started, I just want to say prayers go out to the people in LA for what they've lost, and and just hope that things can get better for them real soon. And please donate wherever you have a platform to donate. Donate. Make sure that the donations are going to be in in well intentioned hands, though. But please, let's help them out. Okay, Joseph, it's on you.
Hey, how are you?
I'm
Great to see
doing
you.
good, man. I'm doing
Great to
good,
see you.
doing good. How you doing? I gotta say it. Love the hair.
Oh, thanks.
Love it, love it,
Thanks.
love it. Love it, love it.
My
Well,
trademark, my
I know,
calling card.
I know. What I wanna say is this. I want you to tell the people a little bit about yourself.
All right. Well, my name is Joseph Anthony, and I have been acting, modeling, playing guitar, and I've been in the business around about 31 years to be exact. Um, I got into the business literally, I'm 57 years old and just coming up, in my
Wow.
20s, 30s, like everybody else, you're working and, I'm watching TV. And back then it was reality shows, or they didn't exist yet. The first one was Who Wants to Marry a Millionaire? I think it was.
Mm,
I'm from
okay.
Goodyear.
That
I'm
was
going
one.
back to
One.
like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yes. Hmm.
Um, and just that. And, yeah, I was kind of like insulted by it. Like, oh my God, this is what TV's turning into. And I'm like, I can do this. I can do this. And then just one day, I'm like, I'm gonna do it. And I knew nothing, nothing. And in the back of my town paper, there was an ad, and and it's still out there in a lot of people's town papers. You'll always see this: actors, models wanted.
Right.
So I called it and went in, and I knew nothing. And it's an office, and of course they start hitting you with, well, you need the pictures and the this and the that, and they're using words I never heard of before, like portfolio,
Mm.
resume, whatever. So I did. I
You,
set up. I set up the date, and I did my pictures, and I had like three shots. You come in with three different looks, et cetera, et cetera, and you take it from there. And every now and then, I used to call every week, and they used to give me something to send those pictures to. And yeah, I did spend the $300-400, and every now
whoa.
and I used to send my stuff out. And one day I got I didn't know. I didn't even know the difference. When you see modeling, it's,
Right.
acting or modeling
Right.
and talent agency. So
Mm.
I was set on the modeling part of it. And they're like, oh, we have an audition for you. And I had to go into the city. And that was like a big to do for me.
Wow. From
So I
a
come
guy
from
now.
a small
Now,
town of Maywood, New
I
Jersey.
was gonna say that. Tell the people where you're from. Exactly.
Yeah. Small town. I went to Catholic school all my life. So I went into the city, which is a big deal, and I went to this audition, and I didn't even know how to get around. I didn't know the streets, and I made my way, and I went in there, and when I opened the door, there was like a long table with maybe 6 to 8 people on it, And I'm like, oh, wow, I was nervous, and it was all new to me. And this guy, this quirky looking guy with the spiky hair and like the brown jacket and the one blue Converse and one orange and the corduroy pants, he's like, pull down your pants. And I was like, what did this kid just say to me? And I was so nervous.
No Diddy.
And everybody's looking at me. I dropped my pants down to my ankles, and he's like, "You're hired. You're hired." And here it is. It was for Troma Films, and it was for the part of they were doing a film called Romeo and Juliet,
Say that
and
again, please, for the fans.
the name of the film
Yeah.
is Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
T instead of the R, because Troma Films, the
Right.
independent film company, the Toxic Avenger, Sergeant Kabuki,
Mm-hmm.
et cetera, et cetera. And I played the romance fantasy version of the Toxic Avenger. But the real reason why I got the job, I found out, was because of my skinny legs. I was the only one that fit into the tights. And
That's it. Pull down your
yeah,
pants.
and that kid
Yeah.
is James Gunn, who is now running DC Studios. So I worked for him. I did all the TV shows. I marched in the Macy's Day Parade. We did little segments here, segments there, all for Troma. And I did that for about 8 years. And
Wow.
under the direction, the writing of this new kid who on the block, he was a writer and got his start at Troma, and that's James Gunn,
That's
who was just a pleasure to work for. Great guy. He was so funny. Um, so much freedom with the script. And here it is when he left, we all know his story now.
yes. Oh man, DC. I mean, I'm a big. I mean, I'm more of a Marvel guy, but I'm into DC as well, and he's making some major changes with the DC stuff.
Making big changes. He's making big changes in there.
Mm,
The new Superman, the trailer came out last week.
mm,
I mean, in my opinion, it's going to make him or break him. I mean, he's redoing everything, got rid of people, is
right.
bringing in new people. When I say got rid of people, I'm talking the famous actors,
Yeah, which is scary.
Jason Momoa, Ben Affleck, Gal Gadot.
That's the one I'm really shocked at, Gal Gadot. I mean, I'm not so shocked at, and people might get offended when I say this, but I'm not so shocked at the Jason Momoa as much as I would be at the Gal Gadot, because I thought Gal Gadot was a good Wonder Woman. I thought that was a good pick for Wonder Woman.
I personally think she's fantastic, and she's not a one-trick pony. She's
Right.
very powerful. She does a lot of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
even more stuff that we really don't know about: writing, directing, producing.
Yes. Yes.
Um, But I also found out since
But
we've spoken that Jason Momoa is cast to be Lobo. So he's going from Aquaman to Lobo, and
so this came.
he's
Wow.
Lobo, in my opinion.
That's good. Now that's a good casting too. He was okay. And I'm not listen. I'm not dogging him as Aquaman. I don't want to get on this thing with Jason Momoa. Yo, you didn't think I was? No, I thought he was good as Aquaman.
Yeah,
But I always thought that, like when I grew up with the comics, I'm reading Aquaman. He was a blonde haired guy.
exactly.
The eyes. You know what I'm saying, and stuff like
He
that.
looks more like me.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
he,
right.
he was the
He
clean
could have
cut,
been
blonde surfer looking guy.
right.
Then they kind of redid him. They gave him the long hair, the
They gave him the
beard.
long
He
hair.
had the hook hand. They gave him the hook hand. They put
Yes,
tattoos on him.
yes.
And I loved it. But in my opinion, I don't think it really flew a lot. And I'm saying that because you really don't even see that now.
Right,
Like
right, right.
they'll use the old image of him. So when they cast Jason Momoa, they really, really took a risk.
They did. They
Like,
did.
they went with the
They
dark
did.
haired guy, Samoan or South Pacific, the tattoos. I mean, that could have sunk
It's true.
DC. But that movie was phenomenal, and it broke records.
It did. It did. And that's what I'm saying. He put butts in the seat. I mean, having that name attached to the movie. That's how strategically movies do anyway. They attach a big name, regardless if traditionally they don't fit into that role, or you don't see them in that role, but you can figure out a way how to manipulate it, how to like put them in that role,
Right.
and it'll fill seats. Jason Momoa was a very popular actor.
Right, but don't forget, he wasn't Aquaman is what made him. He wasn't a huge
No, he
success.
wasn't a huge star. Game
Aquaman.
of Thrones, right? He was in Game of Thrones first, right?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, that's right. Yeah, you're correct.
And I don't even know if that was what his breakthrough was. I mean, I'm
Oh,
thinking,
well, they loved him. They loved him. He did little things like, believe it or not, he did the remake of Conan the Barbarian
yes, he did. He
and
did.
other little things. But you're right, I did forget about that. That did bring him and put him on the table again. But still, even with that, they went totally against the norm of Aquaman.
Mhm.
That's like making Superman a blonde.
It-
You know what I mean? Think
it's
about it.
true. I've
Or a
never thought
redhead.
about it. That's
You know,
true. No, no, no.
he has
Superman's
a
always been.
specific look.
It's true. That's
Hey,
true.
it worked. It worked.
I want to ask you this question because of your years that you've been in the business. What has inspired you? Like a lot of people, they're in any business that you venture into though. You go through a period of where should I still do this? Or, what makes me like this? Or, what I'm saying? What makes me want to get up in the morning and do this? Like you've been doing this for a very long time. You've been in a lot of great works and stuff like that. You do so many things. What
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 motiv-
yeah, what motivates you?
what motivates me? Well, gee, where do I start? You opened up a can of worms.
Hmm.
So many things. Number one, you have to enjoy it. That's number one. If you're
True.
just doing it for a paycheck, you're gonna get disappointed real quick. And you're going to lose interest real quick. Why? Because if you decide you want to become an actor, you better get used to the fact that you do not have a steady income.
Right.
Uh, That's another reason why I do so many things.
Mm.
And nowadays, you have to. You have to sing. You have to dance. You really have to have a lot of variety. Um, because looking at me, I'm like, oh wow, this guy's different and blah blah blah. But when you go into the city and go into auditions and they need a guy with long hair, you're
That's
gonna see
you.
500 of me.
Yep, you're gonna have a
You see
lot
500 of me.
that's
So you
come
got to
out the
have something
woodwork.
that's going to stand out.
True.
But getting back to that, you have to love what you do. Uh, I love getting up. It feeds everything I do. I really live, eat, sleep, and breathe it. It's what. First of all, I have a vision board. Me personally, I love. I want to look a certain way. So with that being said, me looking the way I do, I know I have. You're not going to see me playing a priest.
Right.
I'm not going to get the call for the grandfather. I'm not going to get the call for the Wall Street guy.
Right.
I'm a specific type. But
Hmm.
nowadays my look is you put my hair up. I have a man bun. Times changed. Times
Yeah.
have changed.
The man bun is in.
That's right. When I started, 30 years ago, facial hair was a no-no.
Right.
Tattoos were a no-no. I don't have any tattoos,
But
but
that's the big no-no. Yeah.
yeah, back then it'll say it right in the casting. It'll say
No
no tattoos,
tattoo,
cover it
no
up.
piercings.
No piercing. That's another
Yeah.
one that I
Yep.
do. But hey, they come out. But
Mhm.
I do so much. Last year I was so busy with the work. I was doing two things a day. Music videos. I was
Mm.
playing Barbarian in like three different music videos for bands. Uh,
It's
I played like a rocker um, officiate for in a music video.
it's
I'm doing so many things. I just got done playing and I took on this role because it was so different for me. And I wanted to challenge myself in the preparation of it was I played a sex trafficker. And
okay.
it's funny because and this was before Diddy, all the stuff came out.
Mm-hmm.
I was offered to it because somebody said to me, "Oh, we're doing this thing on sex trafficking, and would you like to play a sex trafficker?" And I said, "You know what? I don't know anything about it, but you know what? I want to challenge myself. I'm going to play a dirty, disgusting, like, how do I even prepare for that? So that was the
Mm.
challenge for me. And that was interesting.
How did you do that? How did you get yourself?
Um, well, it really wasn't that hard. I'm a student of Meisner, so of course, I use the magic as if. So I think I'm an animal lover. So in order for me to get mad and um, my objective, I think I prepared somebody doing something to my cat or one of my animals. Uh, I'm an animal rescuer. Uh,
Beautiful. It's beautiful.
and that took me to where I needed to be. I prepared with money, uh, what was going to motivate me to take this girl, money, you know.
Right.
Um, and then I felt at the end of the day, I felt dirty. And then the script was taking me, the dialogue. And but once you get into character, it flows. You have to leave yourself alone. But at the end of the day, I felt dirty. Um,
Of
but
course.
and then the thing with Diddy came out, and
Mm-hmm.
now that's what you're hearing now. The guy from Abercrombie and Fitch.
Being Fitch. He came after, I think. I think he was even after Diddy. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, like a week or so. But
A
now
week
you're
or so.
seeing a lot. Now you're seeing it a lot, and a lot of it has to do the state of New Jersey here. And I actually got invited to this. What that was it was like a presentation. We shot like a short film, and it was to train the cops in
Mm,
Newark. And we the cast and the director, we got invited to it, and I didn't know what to expect. And I'm like, oh, this is weird. I walked in there, and it was a big convention, and what I shot was used to train the cops, like parents, what to look for in the child, all the little signs, uh, being on the computer, the
right.
child, falling away from the parent, et cetera, et cetera. And I found so much on how big this is. And a lot of it, New Jersey is like the capital of sex trafficking. But what the cops and everything they're trying to pass new legislative laws. But what they're really preparing for is the World Cup is going to be right here.
Yes. It's gonna be
That's what they're preparing for. And why New Jersey is a hub for it is because you have Route 3, you have the Turnpike, you have the
yep.
Parkway, all the hotels and the
Everybody's
restaurants
there.
that line it, because everybody's going to be coming from all over the world. But so that was interesting. So I took on that job, and I really, really learned a lot. Um, but that's how I prepared for it, and it
Wow.
was great.
You know what we that's something. I mean, mentally though, it does kind of do something to you when you think about those defenseless people. I mean, they're really defenseless. Or they sold the bill of goods to put them in that situation to become trafficked. I mean, there's a lot of different ways they get in that situation, but I'm not going to stay on it. But I just want to say, isn't it something, this world, this day that we live in, that we have all of this stuff that is getting exposed to us? Could you imagine back in the golden age, even the stuff that went on? I mean, we get little snippets here and there and stuff like that about these parties that they had. I mean,
Right,
now it's such a big deal. People are focusing on what we're doing today, which is understandably, it's today.
right,
But this stuff has been going on for so long, for
right,
decades and decades. I mean, you're going back to early Hollywood.
right.
You had a young girl. I remember I forgot who. I don't want to name, but some Arbuckle probably. He was involved in her death. This young. I don't know if you've heard that story, but yeah, it's been a lot of crazy things. I mean, a lot of really salacious things that have went on in Hollywood, for decades. And it's like you have to keep, you got to stay in your game. You got to
Right.
keep,
Well,
stay
I mean,
cues.
it's almost like common sense. It's like,
It is. It is.
Sigmund Freud, you have the triangle, sex, money, and power. You're not going to have one without the other. And,
Wow.
going to
There
these
you go.
parties,
Hmm.
and, you're making, millions of dollars, and everybody's hanging all over you, falling on you. You have the women and the boys,
And the boys.
the
Yep.
boys, because the male part of the sex trafficking, that's even bigger, believe
That's
it or not. And let me just say, I don't want to stay on this, but it's
mhm.
sex trafficking slash labor. It's the labor with the
True.
kids, and they go together. Um, but hey, look at the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah.
And the drugs, sex,
For
drugs.
years. For
Who's
years.
getting this and getting that? Now, just everybody's coming out with it. It's been around forever, like you said.
Now everybody's talking about they're talking about what they went through or what they saw. And I mean, I don't know. Like I said, I don't want to stay on it, but it really gets to me sometimes that there's people that witness this stuff and they see that these were pretty much underage people participating, or in that case, people of age being drugged.
Yeah,
You sat there and you watched it, although it didn't happen to you. You didn't say anything.
right.
I mean, I find, I mean, the people that the perpetrators, I find those are the biggest criminals. Don't get me wrong, but I also feel that the ones that sat there and watched these things happen, they're at fault too. I mean, and that's what I think is going on now with this Diddy thing. And hey, listen, he's caught. He's caught doing these things or whatever. But it's like, hey, listen, all of that time you live in your life, then boom. Now, what I wanted to say is that what is your like? 'Cause I see you're in shape and everything like that. When I first saw you, I started I think in 2020 or 2019. I think we started working together. And one thing about you, you've always been in great shape.
Thank
And
you.
your hair, the hair always look healthy. This is a healthy human being.
Right.
What do you do? What is your regimen?
Well, again, it's my life. Um, I live it. Uh, my survival job, by the way, and to give you an idea of how much my life is the acting and the modeling, and I need a survival job too. So what do? I'm a personal trainer. Why? Because forgetting about the acting and modeling, this is what I do. I like being fit. I like being healthy. But because of my look, it gets incorporated into the acting and modeling. Hence my roles, the
Mm-hmm.
roles that I play. Like, I'm almost 60 years old, and I'm running around on set dressed
Yeah.
just as a barbarian. Um,
Right. Right.
and I like that. I still get calls for that. Uh, like I said, I just did 3 music videos, but I'm a personal trainer. That's my survival job. Um, I work out sometimes 7 days a week, but definitely 6. Uh, I eat healthy. Um, no fried foods. I'm very
Right.
strict on I never cheat. They say never say never.
Mm-hmm.
I never cheat. I don't eat cake, cookies. I put that down like 30 years ago. Um,
Nice.
do my
Nice.
cardio. I'm a third-degree black belt. That's my fitness. It's my life. But that spills over into my acting and my modeling. Here's another thing that I do as a survival job. I'm a figure model. I figure model, and I've been doing that from day one. So I'm modeling for about 31 years. I do every college. I do every private school in town, in different towns, all word of mouth. I'll have somebody sitting there that's a student, of all ages, by the way, um, and they'll say, "Oh, we love what you do," and I bring props. I don't just stand there and strike a pose and sit there like a bowl of fruit. That's changed over the years too. I'll touch on real quick, but I bring all my props, my swords, my weapons, knives, guns, um, and I model with it. But I've been doing that for 31 years.
It's
So I
beautiful.
work out because of my look,
Beautiful.
because of my look. So everything just feeds into the other. Everything just feeds into the other. Um, Let me touch on the figure modeling. 31 years ago, yes, you stood there 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, 20 minute, sometimes a half hour. Now it's different. And this is why I'm working a lot too, because a lot of people quit. Uh, DreamWorks Studio, all of a sudden, out in California, all of a sudden started to, because I have a friend a girl, a friend that moved to California, and she got a job modeling at Fremont. And I'm looking at her stuff, and she's nuts. She's moving slow, and
Wow.
by the way, it's costumed. So I do nude. I do clothed nude, but some of the class is half nude, and then the other half is costumed. So I have my Aquaman costume. I'll have a knight costume, a barbarian costume, whatever. But they want you to move, so they want to draw you in motion. So
Wow.
think of like Disney's Tarzan. He's moving and
Yes.
stuff like that. So you have to tell a story uh, while you're dressed. So a lot of people are like, oh, I'm not going to do this anymore. I just want to sit there and get paid. Those days are done. So I'll have to put on a costume and I tell a story. I tell a story. And to me, I look at it like, you know what? I'm standing in front of, I'll walk into the classroom and there'll be 30, 40 students, people I never saw before. And it's like improv to me.
Wow.
That's how I turned it around in my head. It's like I'm auditioning. And you want to talk about real improv? I have one teacher that has a big hat and he has each student write an emotion down. And then he comes to me and I have to
Awesome.
pull out and I have to act out that emotion. Now, if that isn't on the spot improv, and I have about 3 seconds to figure it out, like empathy, or um,
Oh,
but I love it. To me, that's a challenge. But they lost a lot of people, so hey, that's my game because they gave me all the classes, and it pays really well. And here's another thing too. Now agencies actually got in on that, and they have models for that, and the agent gets a percentage of that.
that
But
is nice. That's good to hear.
that's great. That's great for you.
That's
But
good
I
to
get
hear.
money because I book it. But I have it's great. I work sometimes I do 2 classes a day. And the class is like maybe 3 hours, 3.5 hours. But I love it. I love it because it's quiet. I'm in that creative environment and I feel like I'm giving back. And here's another thing too. Sometimes I'll wear wild clothes with like weird colors or a paisley or whatever, either as a cape or
I can
whatever.
see that. I can see that. I can see
Yeah.
that.
See,
Yeah.
they love that. And, they use me because of my build, they'll use me for the anatomy class. Sometimes they'll use me for like the little kids who are embarrassed. Um, they'll use me for the secret superhero club. I mean, look what you can do with
Yes.
me.
Yes. A lot. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Age, and these kids are like, oh wow, you put a cape on me,
You can even be a villain.
put a vil- yeah,
Yeah.
put a cape on me. I'm a superhero. Put a sword in my hand. I'm a
Yep.
barbarian. You can do
Barbarian.
a lot with. You can have fun, and I make it fun. I challenge them with all the weird colors, and you see when I walk in, they light up, and they don't just have red, blue, gray. They'll see what I'm wearing, and you see them to get excited and they go in their bag and they'll take out like a burnt sienna or a maroon, and it because it's challenging. They get their big palette and they start mixing colors. It awakens, and that's what I like.
Oh,
That's
that's
what feeds me. That's why I like giving back, and that's what motivates me.
mm,
Here's another thing too. I like I love going to work every day at a different location. I don't know where I'm going to be tomorrow. I might
okay.
get a call from an agent or from you.
Right.
You have to be in Pennsylvania tomorrow.
You
Oh,
don't
you
mind.
shooting Brooklyn. You're shooting in Brooklyn on Thursday. It's fun. If you don't like doing all that stuff,
Don't
don't
be in the
get into
business.
the business.
You can't get in. You can't get
Don't
in.
get into the business.
No.
Not a steady paycheck. But if you're not enjoying it, or if you're not enjoying that life or lifestyle,
Get
don't
out.
do it. Like
Don't do
anything
it.
else in life, you're only going to get out what you put in. And I
That's
live by
right.
this motto: if you love what you like, you'll never work a day in your life.
That's true. Now I have something else for you. This is like I said, like people. I'm gonna warn you now. I mean, we've been going for a while already. This guy and myself, we've been on the phone for like 2 hours. We're not gonna try to keep you here for 2 hours.
Yeah,
We can go, we can go.
yeah.
I like picking his brain. I like the way he explains things, and he has a lot of years in this business. This is something I have to definitely ask is in your years, the changes that have come, what have been major changes that you see, first of all, that are positive in the industry?
Um,
There's been changes.
and you don't want to go for 2 hours, and you ask me about.
Right. Oh yeah, I know. I know. You know what? Maybe we can save this one for part two.
Sure.
Because we're gonna do a part two because I'm telling you, Joseph and I, we can go. We can talk about anything under the sun.
And
So
not only can we talk, but we can also debate.
we do debate, and we haven't debated yet. So that's the whole thing, But we haven't, which is cool because it'll take it even longer. But what I want to say is there's a lot of things going, like we even talked about wrestling. Now people don't know that, about me. I'm very big into wrestling.
Right.
And the one thing about you, I was surprised to find out that you knew what you knew, and that you was into what you into.
Right.
Did you get a chance? Now, if you did, you did. If you did, you did. If you didn't, you didn't. Did you get a chance to watch the premiere Raw on Netflix on Monday?
Um, to be honest with you, I
Yes.
went to tune in, and when I went to click on it, it was saying coming soon. I couldn't
Oh,
why.
the delay.
I don't think anybody else had that problem. I
Mm-mm.
couldn't click onto it. It was saying coming soon. Um, I did watch some bits and pieces of it on my phone, like on Facebook, whatever.
Right.
But I did watch Friday Night SmackDown last night, and it was
That
showing
was
a lot
good.
of.
It was pretty good last night. Yeah, Friday Night SmackDown was pretty good last night. Now, why I asked you about the wrestling is that there's been a lot of wrestlers more than ever going into acting.
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, nothing wrong with that at all. But this is just something I want to ask, and this is, out of, I guess, your top four, I can say. If I leave someone out, you can let me know. Out of The Rock, John Cena, who's the other one? The Rock, John Cena,
Dave Batista.
Dave Batista, and there's another one. Let's say, well, CM Punk has dipped his toe in. He's been on Sons of Anarchy and stuff, but he's not as okay. Let's just say the three: The Rock, John Cena, and Batista. Out of the three,
Don't
who
forget
has Ron
Ronda Rousey, right?
Ron Rousey too? She does. I forget. Yeah, she has been in Stallone's. Yeah, she has. But I would have to put her number four. So I'll put those three, over her. Um, I'm looking at maybe I'm saying that the most Ranger out of them may be Batista.
Okay, here comes the debate.
See?
Yeah, he he's in my opinion up and coming. He is taking this very, very seriously.
Hmm.
How do you know that? What's his behavior? His
Yes.
behavior is look what he looks like now.
Yes.
You
Right.
see, he's off whatever he was doing.
Yep.
I'll leave it at that.
Yep.
He is
Exactly.
the man he used to be. And let me tell you something. You're talking about wrestling. Here's another one of my survival jobs. I do celebrity security. I worked WrestleMania when it was here in New
Yes.
Jersey.
Hmm.
I went to work that day thinking, oh, it's going to be kids, a lot of screaming kids, whatever. When I pulled into that parking lot, at MetLife Stadium, I thought I was at a rock concert. You couldn't even get into the parking lot. People were partying with the flags and the women. I mean, everybody was young. Everybody was, 30, 40 in their 20s. I mean, I'm like today's WrestleMania, right? I actually questioned myself when I went into work and when they put me at my post, I'm backstage. Um, I'm not in the stadium. When I say I'm backstage, I'm at the dressing rooms. I have to take them to lunch. dinner. I have to take them to press. I take them to the stage. I take them to their cars, whatever. When I was at my post, I thought I was at a Hollywood. I thought I was at the Oscars on the red carpet. I could not believe
The production is something.
that's. I didn't get to that yet.
Oh, okay.
Could not believe the celebrities
Oh, right,
that
right, right.
were at this event. I'm talking, Mario Lopez, every single wrestler. I mean, everybody alive was there. Which when there's a big event like that, even
Hmm.
on Netflix,
Yes. It's
Netflix there
huge.
was, I mean, all the wrestlers, um, the Baldwins, the Kardashians. I mean, people that came in from California.
I've been. Yeah.
Chuck Zito
Hmm.
was there. Joan Jett was playing. Um, that was that. I mean, I didn't. My head was just spinning, and everybody had to come to where I was posted. Everybody had to come to me, and pass me, and etc. So I saw everything and everybody, every single wrestler I saw. Which I'm 6'1", and I'm built, and I'm like,
Hmm.
you know what? You could hide me behind these. I mean, you're talking, these people were so
They're
big.
huge. They're
I
huge.
mean, Undertaker,
Yeah.
the Big Show was the biggest person there. He's 7'1". He
Yeah.
was
7'1", something like that. Yeah.
he's so big that
But he's wide. He's wide as well.
in the golf cart, he sat on one side and they had to put six people on the other to even out the cart. Massive.
Wow.
He's diving with his pinky finger. These people have to duck to go into a door. And speaking
Yeah.
of the Undertaker's the second biggest person I ever saw. But speaking of Dave Bautista, he was there. You could hide me
Yes.
behind one of his thighs.
Yeah.
His
He's
quad. He's massive. These people are massive. That's that. Let's go on to the production of it. If you, in all my life, oh, it's fake. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. When now that I'm in the business, um, you want to talk about a professional. I mean, a massive professional production. Okay, everybody was coming in. A lot of these wrestlers, a lot of them flew, but a lot of them drive from city to city, town to town. Um, Undertaker walked in. He had his little daughter on his shoulders. He's pushing the carriage, and who else is coming? Hey, what's up? Oh, when did you get here? Blah blah blah. They're all hugging each other. Blah blah blah.
family.
Yeah, and then just like when you see on SmackDown, whatever,
Hmm.
everything is along the sides. You see all the lighting and the
Right.
makeups, and everybody's getting ready, all the wardrobe, and everybody's ready. Then everybody's studying their scripts. Everybody's going over everything. So it was WrestleMania. So not only did you have WrestleMania live production, in one corner they were shooting, you had Monday Night Raw. In another corner, they had Friday Night SmackDown.
Mm.
Then you had the Kardashians were walking around with their crew from E. There was, but you could hear a pin drop. You're talking thousands of people were there, and everybody's shooting at once. So everybody's mindset, no one's chattering and blah blah blah. You can hear a pin drop. That's
Mm.
how professional. And everybody's stretching, but going over their lines. And I had such a respect for that. And think about it, it's an ongoing soap opera, but all the physicality and the fighting that goes into it. So I really gave it blew my mind, and it totally changed my perspective of it. It was great. It
Yeah.
was really good. I learned so much.
No,
I
you
learned
do.
so much.
Yeah. They're not just lugs that are in the ring, beating
No,
each other.
absolutely not.
They're
And that's
very
why,
professional.
these people are great actors.
It's true.
Now, okay, to answer your question, you gave me four people. In my opinion, it's The Rock, Dwayne
Wow.
Johnson.
Okay. But
Okay. To
I'm
me, right now, and actually, he's my idol right now. He's the man of the year. He's the entertainer of the year. Anything this guy touches
turns to gold.
turns, turns to gold. Except he had some problem with Black Adam, but
Yeah. But that's just a hiccup.
that was DC. That
Yeah.
wasn't
That wasn't
it.
him.
Big
Right.
changes going on in DC. They shot that during COVID. They had to keep breaking, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, those were his words.
I liked the movie. I saw it.
But
I enjoyed it. I mean, I'm not saying it
yeah,
was
yeah,
all this
yeah, it
and
was
then
good.
some,
It
but I
was good.
liked it, you know.
But now I'm going to use him as an example. His father, first of all, he's
Wow.
Samoan. You don't have wrestling without Samoans. I mean, since we were
Right,
kids,
right. Yeah, he's
all
half.
related. That's what the bloodline is. Their uncles, cousins, great grandfathers, their brothers, their twins, they're all related. So if you watch Young Rock and they're showing clips,
I
he's a
love that
little
show.
boy. He's a little boy sitting in the row. He goes home. He's living it. All the wrestlers are in the house. They're
Andre the
practicing,
Giant.
forming the lines. Um, you're shooting. Okay, I need you to be mad. We're gonna shoot a promo. You're the heel. You're the this. Dude, that's improv. That's improv. So he's watching that as a child,
Yeah.
but it's the mindset. It's the mindset. If you look at Young Rock, there was an episode where the father, they're living
He
in the
was great.
hotel.
He
There's
was
no
great.
food to eat, and then he has this big Cadillac, and he
Hmm.
comes out. He comes out of the arena, and all the fans are there. And the wife's like, "What are you doing?" Blah blah blah. He goes, "Live in the gimmick. Live in
Right.
the gimmick."
I
You
saw
know,
that
you have
episode.
to live the gimmick. You have to give them the fantasy that you're like a Ric Flair, like you're a
Yes.
multi-millionaire with the Jets and everything. But meanwhile, these people are making $20 a show,
Yeah.
driving from town to town, eating, beans out of a can.
Yes.
Uh,
Yes.
but he grew up with that. He knows how to work the camera. He knows how to work the audience. He
Hmm.
gives them that smile. He gives them the eyebrow. Um, but then, and I think it was at the time wrestling started. That was their company that started making the movies. Vince McMahon wanted to break into movies.
Yeah, he did. He did. WWE. Yep.
That's where they started. But
Yep.
then he's taking acting lessons and blah blah blah. He's done a lot.
He's done
And
it.
don't forget, I mean, he's playing the guitar in the ring. He's singing in the ring.
Yeah.
Like
That's
I
just
said,
when he
he's
was
not a one.
wrestling.
He's
Yeah.
not a one trick pony. He's not a one trick pony. He's dancing. Then he's making films for the kids. With the Tooth Fairy. It was one of his first ones, and of course all the Disney stuff. He's so lovable, but you have to give him credit. I mean, he does everything. He raps. He sings in those songs. He's just lovable. Then of course comes the liquor and the water, and now he has the face, uh, the face line. Um, but again, Dave Batista. Now this man, he's studying acting. I mean, he's an A
He
list,
is. He's
and he
becoming an
wants to
ingenue. They
he
say.
wants to get real serious
Yeah.
and changed his look
He
because
did
he
a
wants to work
Christian Bale.
roles.
Yeah. He did
That's
a
what the
Christian
roles.
Bale. Yeah. I mean, what he did, the weight that he dropped is ridiculous, right?
Oh my! I stood next to this man. His shadow was bigger than me, and now he's. I mean, he's down like 80, at least 80 pounds. I mean, he was a massive, massive man.
Yeah, he was. He was. He was. He was something else. I mean,
Um, he's
there.
bigger than what you see on TV. I think when he does a scene, because when I was on the soap opera, All My Children, I did scenes. Susan Lucci was in it, and she's
Mm,
like 4'9".
yeah.
And the big thing is when an actor is 6'1", and then you have somebody who's 4'9", and you're shooting that, you can't get these people into the frame.
No.
So what do you do? But I think now with movie magic, you're going to tell me that Dave Batista doesn't tower over, a 7-year-old little girl. So
Right.
I
Exactly.
think, with that being said, I can tell that they alter it somehow. Um, Yeah, I mean, how's he going to fit into the frame?
It's true.
The,
This is
the
true.
Rock, the Rock too. He's like 6'7".
He's like, yeah, well, I think 6'4", 6'3", six
I think
four.
he's 6'5",
Yeah,
actually,
yeah,
but
yeah. Six,
still
yeah.
tall.
He's a
That's
big
still
dude,
tall.
a big
Yeah,
guy. You
yeah.
know,
But
I
they're
mean,
doing it. But they're doing it, and that's breaking the stereotype.
it is
You know, now look at The Rock. You see the size of him. He's doing kid movies. Um, yeah,
superhero.
he's doing it. He's an action star.
He is.
What's
He's
his
the top.
action?
I believe the top action star right
Yeah,
now. Yeah,
but he's doing it all, and people believe him. He's driving the boat in that Disney movie.
is it not Moana. I know you're talking about. There's the movie.
Treasure, not Treasure Island, but you know what I'm talking about.
Jumanji, not
That's
no.
your mind. But
Yeah, it's not
the other
that.
one, he's driving the boat, whatever.
Yeah,
But
I know what you're talking about. That
yeah,
was a good
no
movie.
matter what he's in, my point is, no matter what he's in, it's believable. He's so likable, um, and that motivates me too. That
Mm,
motivates me too. If he can do it, I can do it.
you can do it as well. That's true.
That goes for anybody. You know, there's no more limitations. 31 years ago, there were so many. It was just cut and dry. Um, your long hair is going to interfere.
Go
Um,
ahead.
your facial hair is going to
Go
interfere.
ahead.
The tattoos are going to interfere. Now it's a different ball game. There's no limitations. There's no limitations.
Who's
Um,
the actors that we love that they live by that. I mean, and they've never been lived. They've not lived through limitations. Danny DeVito, we've spoken about
yeah,
him
we spoke
before.
about that. He's my big idol.
You know,
I never met him. I would love to meet him. I would love to interview that man.
Mm,
Because um, okay, Danny DeVito. Let's start with him. Danny
right?
DeVito. So if you go back in time when he was coming in up into it, who were his who were the typical stars back then?
You had Clint Eastwood. You had people like that. You had the tall, good-looking guys, or rugged
John
guys.
Wayne,
Right.
and then you have Danny DeVito, who's, let's say,
Yeah.
4'11", 5 foot.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
little, he's bald. Back then, if you didn't look like, Robert Redford,
Right.
you weren't working.
You want to work
You know what I mean?
yep,
Or
or
and if
Warren
you
Beatty
were,
or Richard Gere. Richard
yeah,
Gere, Warren Beatty too. Yep.
yeah. And if you were working, they would put you in character actor.
Right.
And speaking of character actors, the other person, Steve Buscemi,
Steve Buscemi. Yeah.
to- totally went against the grain. So, and I don't mean any disrespect, but he's a little bug-eyed.
Hmm.
He's eating, his teeth aren't perfect. Now, back in the day, let, let's go back to my day 30 years ago. If I would have went into an agent office, and this has happened to me, they'll look at you, or a modeling agency, they'll look at you, they'll look at your pictures, get your teeth fixed. Um, I don't like your hair. Back then it wasn't politically correct.
Right.
Uh, they said, and the big one, they said what they meant. The big one is, of course, with the weight, and you still
Hmm.
hear that now. You still
Right.
hear it.
Right.
Back to me, lose 30 pounds, or um, but he, first of all, he's an amazing actor, but all his career in the beginning, first of all, he's a comedy relief,
Hmm.
and he's a character
Yep.
actor.
He is. He is a
He's a
character actor.
character actor.
Yep.
Everything he did, Armageddon, The Big
Boardwalk.
Lebowski, he's the same role. But
Hmm.
then all of a sudden comes Boardwalk Empire,
Yes.
and he's the lead. He's an
He
amazing actor.
killed that role. He killed
He's
that. Killed
amazing
that role.
actor.
Yeah, he killed that role.
Yeah, so people,
Mhm.
the times are changing, but people go against that grain. But Danny DeVito, I would love to sit down with this man and ask him when he was in high school, okay? So now you're going back. What gave him the bug and what possessed this guy to think that he can become an actor? I want to know what his I want to know what his parents said to him.
Me too.
He went to his mother and his father and said, I want to be an actor. And I want to hear what the feedback was because he had to have had negative responses. And
Very
for that
true.
man to blow it off and still pursue with a passion what he wanted to do. I want to hear what his acting coach
Right. Me
said to
too.
him. This
Me
man
too.
walked in the door and said, I want to be an actor. And more than that, I want to hear what the first agent said to him.
Right. He probably threw him to the side.
Yeah,
Threw him to the side. He didn't see any
yeah,
use for him because of his look.
yeah.
Yeah.
And he didn't care. I mean,
He
he didn't
messed up.
care. And look what happened to him. And right now, if you ask me, his career is at a peak right now.
Oh,
He's everywhere.
I tell you how agents and managers are. I mean, when you have, you have that and you see a photo, like back in the days, like you would receive photos through the mail. People would mail you your
Right.
photos and resumes, right?
Yep.
So you
Yep.
didn't have to see them face to face, but you went just by their photo. So if they didn't look a certain way, sometimes even regardless of the resume in the back, which would be taped to the back or stapled to the back, you didn't want them because you figured they wouldn't be an eye catcher because
Right.
that's what
Right.
people are looking at. And that goes across the board, and even with race, even with your sex, sexuality. If you had a certain look to you or whatever like that, if you didn't fit what people thought would be the money maker for an agent or a manager, that agent or manager just put you. If they didn't throw it away, you got put in this pile. And then when
Right.
extra work came up,
Yeah.
they go get you
That's
for
right.
the extra work.
That's
Hey, and the whole line was, "Oh, I don't have anything for you right now, but if you would like to, do you mind doing extra work? We have a thing that you can be in the background of this role in this
yeah.
movie or
Because
whatever."
they got their percentage. Yeah. They sat behind the desk every week.
Yes.
I used to on a Thursday because that's when Backstage came out.
Mm,
Go to Barnes and Nobles. It was in a newspaper form. You go through. It was broken down. Play. Theater, modeling, acting. You used to go through there, circle what you wanted, or what you were good for,
right.
what applied to you, and then you used to get your headshot with your resume stapled on the back, or
True.
tape.
It's
That was a
true.
big thing too. Then all of a sudden, you couldn't staple it anymore. They wanted tape. Then you couldn't tape
Yep.
it anymore. They wanted
It was
double-sided tape.
double
Right?
sided.
Remember
Yep.
that?
Yep.
Uh,
I remember all of that.
yeah. Then you put it in your 9x11
I
envelope.
still have some. I still have hard copy photos and res. I have. Well, I know I thought I had them. They're
Yeah.
probably in my closet somewhere. I had a book. Still had an old book with photos. I kept it. I just kept it. I said, "Oh, this is cool."
Yeah. You
But
had to handwrite your cover letter,
yes, you hand.
right?
Yep. Cover
Put
letter
everything in
handwritten.
the envelope, take it to the post office, buy the special stamp,
That's
and offer
true.
it. And then you had to wait a whole week. And then if they wanted you, in my case, I had a pager.
See, me
Page
too.
me.
Me
And
too.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, it changed a lot.
Yep. I'm telling you, it has changed. I mean, what they do now. I tell you, it's like a blessing that how we have the system, how it works now for actors and managers and agents, to go after and casting people. We can't forget casting directors to be able to they they're able now to have things much more smooth and easy going. Remember when you had to stand on line? You stand on a line that was probably go around the block just for one role. Or
Oh,
if they had the casting, the
oh, yeah,
casting
yeah.
calls,
But- yeah,
they still
exactly.
have that sometime, but not like they used to. Not
No,
like they used
well,
to.
everything now is, first of all, everything since the pandemic, it's a Zoom.
Yeah, that's what changed it.
Yeah, of course.
Believe it. Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Of course, I like a Zoom audition because you do it from your own home.
Right, right.
but I don't like a Zoom audition because you're not getting live feedback
No,
and you only have one chance to do it right.
that's it.
They're not going to call you back. Well, this
Mm-mm.
hasn't happened to me. They're not going to call me back and say, "Oh, that was really good, but can you try it this way?" It's
No,
try yes or no. You're not going to hear from them if you
no,
don't get it, and that's what I don't like. Um, when you're there in person, they'll say, "Oh man, that was great, but try it like this," or "Can you put more emphasis on that?" Uh, and you had a better shot. With the Zoom, it's one and done, and that's
right.
what I don't like.
Well, one thing I gotta put out there about what we do here at RPT, especially I give this to Melanie on this one. She when there's a Zoom type of recording they have to do to send to the casting people, what
Right.
she'll do is that she'll look over what the actor or actress did,
Yeah.
and then call them back and say, hey, listen, can you do before
Right.
it gets to casting? So that's a big help. And we book a
Yes.
lot. A lot of people get booked because of that. Because the simple fact is, you're exactly right. You don't have that in person anymore.
Right.
You don't have that to wait. So if it's leaving your computer, I mean, if it's leaving and going to a casting person, and then you're only doing it one time without really going over it or whatever like that, and seeing what you could have done better, could have did better. Yeah, you can be losing an opportunity, without even really realizing it. So
Yeah.
that's what we do here. I think I believe there's other places that do the same, but I know she does this. She does it all the time. She even reads with the actors.
Uh,
So that's great. Yeah, 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 yeah. She even
yeah.
reads.
I
So
might be taking her up on that. I
yeah.
might be. That's another thing too, actually.
Mhm.
Um, that's a great point because some of these casting directors, or when you're about to sit down and hit the record button, I'm saying to myself, wait a minute, should I get a reader or should I just
Mhm.
say my lines? And that's big.
Yes,
That's a big thing.
it's a big thing, brother.
Yeah, like I don't know if that's understood where you should have a reader or it doesn't matter. Sometimes they'll specify, but that confuses me a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've gotten my I've asked somebody to read with me. I don't like doing that, but because they're just reading words. Um, it's hard to
Different. It's
work
different.
off of that.
So yeah, Melanie says she definitely she hears this. She says she'll definitely read with you.
Oh, that's great. Good to
She would
know.
definitely read with you. Yeah, I'm glad we're talking about this because it does put a highlight on what the needs and wants of the actor and how the agent can help or the manager can help further than just collecting a commission and trying to book the job. There's a lot of things that can be done, from
Oh yeah,
our end as well.
yeah,
You
and
know,
that's
yeah,
too. Because don't forget, I'm speaking to the actors out there who are watching this,
right.
new and old, but don't be so nervous. And this is so much easier said than done because I even get nervous too. Um, don't forget that a casting director, especially when you go there in person, they want you to get the job. They want you to be the one. Oh my God, that's perfect.
They
Just
actually do. Yeah.
guy. Why? Because they're paying rent for that studio. When you're going to Ripley Greer to audition, and they're there from like you know
Yeah.
9 to 4, they're paying for that spot. Number
Mm,
two, they want to go home too. They want you to get that so they can end their day. They have family and friends they want to get home to,
true.
so they want you to make their job easier. But just to go back a little bit for the new actors out there, you don't know how lucky you are right now. This is a great, great time to be an actor, because the little things that Robert, you and I were talking about, you don't have to do that anymore. Everything is online. I
Mm-hmm.
have my page on Backstage. They come to you.
They come to you.
Now they come to
Yes.
you. And
Yes. Yes.
24/7. You're on many different sites. I know I am. Backstage, Casting Networks,
Yep.
Actors Access.
Access. Those are the main three.
Yeah,
Those
right.
are the things.
Which you're now on.
Yep.
Um,
Exactly.
yeah, direct submit, um, yeah, stuff like that. You
Hmm.
put your profile, your resume, et cetera, et cetera. They come to you. I even get notified when I was put in, uh, when I was searched. So it's definitely active. Again, it's 24/7. It's
It is
just a great time. Back in the day, you had Thursdays to get the paper came out, and then you had to wait a whole nother week.
true. I
Times
remember that.
changed, man.
Yep, it's
Times
true.
changed.
I remember that. You're taking me back now.
Oh
That's
yeah,
how I started out. I mean, I started this company was founded in 2000, January of 2000. Now we're in the 25. Now I'm 26 years in. So I'm going back to where you're even in the business longer.
yeah,
So I'm going back to when, yeah, you had to wait for that newspaper to come out to get your stuff. Remember the Ross reports? Remember
yeah,
I don't they still even
yeah.
have that? They don't have that anymore. I used to get to the Ross, go to the Ross report,
Yeah,
and I would send
that little booklet.
that little book, and I would send all of my actors and actresses. I would send their photos and resumes all over to every casting director in the country, not only in New York. So I was really hustling it. I mean, and then I don't know if you remember this site. You know where I got a lot of work for people at? There was a site called One Model Place. Do you remember that?
Yeah, never
It
heard
was
of
based out in Florida. It was a site. It was a website. But the website, everybody and their mother around the world who had projects, casting projects and everything like that. They would put their stuff up there to look for actors, models, and promotion, things for promotions. It was a great site. I don't know, you know, why it went down. It's not the same anymore at all. I don't know what changed it. I have no idea. But I was booking people from all over the country, which that's what helped build this.
it. Yeah, I
I had
never heard
work
of
in
it.
South Dakota, man. I had work in South Dakota. I had
Wow.
work in Tennessee. I had work in Ohio. I mean, I just loved it. I
Wow.
loved it. I love this business. It's just the things that people get duped into. The things that come with it that are not good that I don't like. But other than that, I love this business. I love working with clients like yourself. And all of our clients. I just love it. But the thing is that like I said, where there's good things that happen, there's also bad things that go on too. But you have to keep aware of who you're working with, your surroundings, the trust factor. You can't trust everyone.
It is. It is. And let me tell you something. Um, After a little while of doing it, you figure it out. You
Yes, you
know,
do. You do.
you know what is and what isn't, what shouldn't be. You
Yep.
become streetwise real quick.
Yep.
And here's something else. This is a big, big industry that we work in, but it's a small industry as well. Everybody knows everybody. And I'll give you an example. When I first started in a business, I do a lot of independent horror films.
Hmm.
All that B. I'm like the king of the B movie roles, um, which is Troma and James Gunn. But
Yeah, yeah.
I just last year, mid-year, I submitted for something, and my phone rang, and it was a friend of mine. He was the casting guy slash director, and he goes, "Oh my God, this is Zach." He goes, "What's up?" And I'm like, he goes, "Yeah, from Troma." And I'm like, "No way." He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "You're hired." He goes, "You're hired." I'm like, "Oh, really? I have to audition?" He goes, no. He goes, "No." Now, here it is. 30 years later, I'm working with him again, and
That's
I started with him in the business, and it just
full circle.
my point is, it's a movie. It's this, it's that. After a movie's done and shot, people go off to the next movie or project, TV show, whatever, and work. So everybody, you're not the only one who's looking for work. Everybody is. The
Everybody.
editor, the casting directors, the cinema, everybody.
Yep.
The makeup artist, you know what I'm saying? Like, you'll see people again. So, always be happy and positive. because if you're not and you're negative or you have any phobias, I don't want to touch in on that too much. You're not going to work. You're not going to work. I'll tell you
That's
that right now.
that's
You
great
are not
advice.
going to work.
Great advice. And
Yeah.
on that note, that's great advice. And I hate to like I'm like gonna say cut this short, and this hasn't been short.
No, no.
We did what I
We can
said
go on forever.
we could, because there's more.
There's a lot.
There's a lot more people. This is not an exaggeration. There's a lot more things that Joseph and I, can talk about, that we're gonna do it, and it's gonna be a part two. Definitely a part two coming soon.
Right.
But as always, with this, Joseph, I tell you, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. All
Thank
right,
you. I had a good
a
time. Yeah,
pleasure
we can go on
speaking to you.
forever. I love
We could talk forever and ever and ever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
This has been great. Now, I like to also say once more, keep up the prayers, everyone. Keep up the prayers for California. For LA, the LA area. There's a lot of great things. I mean, not a bad things going on, but a lot of great things going around that you can donate to. Just make sure that you choose the right, you know, um, donation process to go through, because there's a lot of also scams out there. Let's be careful of that. I like to also say, please like, share, and subscribe to this video. Trying to build this channel. Joseph is going to be a major part of this, because I tell you, the stories that this man has,
I
unbelievable.
I have more stories than Mother Goose. I could write a book.
You see
I
what
could
I'm
write a
saying? Yeah, I know. On that note, people, I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there. And I like to say, have a great weekend, have a great day, have all of that. Love you all. Take care. Bye
Bye-bye. Thank you.
bye.